Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in amma ba'd. So the question is about following a school, and this could be in aqeedah or in fiqh. With regards to that, obviously we see that the ones that aren't on the Sunni way, especially the Salafiyah, they have their own way of study that actually gives you no results. And with regards to the Sunni way, the consistent way, right, we have schools. Right, so you're going to follow one of the 4 schools of fiqh, one of the 3 schools of aqeedah, and the way of Tasawuf. And so in that, let's just say, obviously we're Maliki, so Maliki, Ashari, in the way of Al-Junaid. Following the Maliki school, for example, I'm not going to start studying with the Mudawwana or the Muwatta or the Mawaziyya or the Utbiyya or things like that. Like, that's not how the school is. It's a systematic way that you can't just do your own thing like the Salafiyya. So, you're going to start with the Akhdaris and the Ashmawiyya and the Ibn Ashir, things like that. Work your way up into the Risala, for example, Ashal Masalik, depending on the curriculum, and so on, up until Khalil, right? And then you kind of work backwards in a way. Like once you go to the most recent, and then eventually, as you move up to the levels, you go to the Shuruh of the Mudawwana, for example, and then you kind of go back in time a little that way. But the Salafiyya, what they do, they want you to start with the Muwatta and the Mudawwana, and somehow get fiqh from that, right? Like they want you, for example, to start with Kitab al-Umm for Imam al-Shafi'i or the Risala of Imam al-Shafi'i, right? So the principle with these scholars of Islam, the Sunni scholar, is to study the oldest books last. You don't start with the older books, right? Because we're looking at over 1,000 years of service, right? Getting to these little mukhtasarat, these little summarized books, and then working your way, through the levels, right? So in the older books are probably in level 4, level 5 of study, and the Salafi want it to be level 1, right? Like they do with the Mughni, for example, they'll teach the Mughni somehow, and that's supposed to be beneficial in fiqh. It doesn't actually give you anything, amongst other strange things that we see. But and if you take it to the Ashari school, right, you're going to study like the Kharid and the Jawhara and the Shuruh of those books, and like the works of Imam Sanusi, for example. But there's a system there. Like you're not necessarily going to start with the books of Imam al-Ash'ari, for example, right? You're not going to start from there, right? And the books by Imam al-Ghazali and Imam al-Razi and so on, right? You have to work your way. Those are going to be, in the last levels. Right, so we don't need people from outside looking in to tell us what books to study. Right, and this is the correct book. Right, and of course the Salafi famously claim to be Hanabila, but they follow Ibn Abdul Wahhab that says that in the Muntaha and the Iqna', both of those books, or most of what's in those 2 books, go against the Nas of Imam Ahmad. Right, and for our purposes, those are the 2 relied upon books in fiqh. So how do they go against the Nas of Ahmad? But that's their way, right? It's a Hashwi way, inconsistent, all over the place, doesn't actually get you true knowledge. That's why when they leave that way, they come to Ahlu Sunnah, you find them as laymen, beginners, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Wa sallallahu alaihi wa sallam Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.